give me a little time to.
You said after session.
I did, and it is.
Is it awkward not to?
No, it's not awkward. I am making sure that we stick the landing. Folks need to get to know her as well, so little spaces probably helpful. Not awkward would be the last word I'd use to describe it.
All right, Governor Holcomb there explaining why he hasn't made an endorsement yet in the 2024 primary, even with his own lieutenant governor in the race for governor next year. Let's talk about it now with our panel. Joining us today here in studio, former state party chair for the Indiana Democrats, Robin Winston, former GOP lawmaker Mike Murphy, UIndy political science professor Dr. Laura Wilson, and Purdue political science professor Dr. Martin Sweet. Thank you all for being here with us today. Laura, Lieutenant Governor Crouch has racked up a lot of endorsements here in recent days, but the governor hasn't weighed in yet. Are you surprised at all yet?
I don't know I'm surprised. I think it would carry weight, but you also have to think of the reputation on his end. You obviously want to endorse someone you really like, but someone you think is going to be successful. And if you look at Ron DeSantis, he made 2 endorsements for the primaries this Tuesday, both for the Kentucky governor's race and for the Jacksonville mayor's race, and both of them lost. And the headline was Donald Trump saying Ron's not a winner. So I think there's a lot of calculus and strategy that comes into this, and some of that we just don't see yet.
Martin, how do you see this? The governor saying maybe some space is better. Is this because of the governor's own standing, perhaps, within the Republican primary electorate right now?
Yeah, I think that's probably it. I think if you ask Suzanne Crouch right now, do you want Holcomb's endorsement? She might hem and haw herself a little bit, right? She's going to run her own race. And taking on Braun, who's much more conservative, I'm not sure that getting a Holcomb endorsement is really a benefit to Crouch at this point.
Mike, your thoughts on all this and on the race overall? We had Eric Doden here in studio this week. We'll be talking with the Lieutenant Governor and Senator Braun here in the weeks to come. Could this be a tough primary fight, and how do you see it all playing out?
Well, I think it's going to be a tough primary fight because you have at least a couple people, Braun and Doden, who can self-finance. They can pull the money out of their pocket. I mean, $1 million to them is like me with a nickel, right? And so, God bless their success. But, to get back to what Martin and Laura said, when you take a governor's endorsement, an incumbent's endorsement, you take the good and the bad. And, governor has been a great governor. But at the same time, he's not been universally loved, especially when it came to the way that some people think he did not handle COVID well. I think he did a good job. Also, some of the bills he vetoed when it comes to gender identity and all that kind of stuff. And so he's not thought out in the hinterlands as being very conservative.
Issues that certainly could come up in a Republican
that gives Braun
primary.
a huge window to attack whoever Holcomb endorses.
Robin, your response to all that, and who would Democrats rather face in 2024 for governor?
Well, first off, I think he's already endorsed her by making her his lieutenant governor. I mean, there's not been any schisms that I've seen. She didn't vote for the pay increase, the exorbitant pay increase that the Republican General Assembly pushed through for elected officials. But as far as who you take on, we got to get our candidate together first, and then we can figure out who's going to be on the other side. Jennifer McCormick has indicated that she is interested in running. Don't underestimate her. I have 2 words for you if you do. Glenda Ritz. So don't underestimate what can happen whenever you have an educator run statewide.
See what happens.
I thought Tom McDermott was a given.
Thank you, Mike.
We'll see how it all shakes out. Let's also talk about the news from Washington right now. The race for president right around the corner, right as the president also faces these debt limit talks with Congress. Various Republican candidates trying to woo primary voters. Some of them, like Donald Trump, saying Republicans should battle this out, maybe even let the government go into default. As President Biden says he's optimistic a deal will be reached. But Laura, this could be quite a fight within the House Republican caucus, just as it was when Kevin McCarthy was finally elected speaker after all those ballots.
I was going to say after over a dozen, right? I think the real question is the spending cut. And that feels like an area that's really hard to negotiate because on one hand, the Democrats are completely resistant to it and the Republicans are very persistent on it. If there's something else they can compromise on, and we forget about that in our political climate, but it's bringing several options to the table and saying, okay, we know we have to address this. It's a $31 trillion debt ceiling. I have a hard time believing 2 intelligent men can't come together and come up with some sort of negotiation. But I think the spending cuts have been too politicized. I'm not sure that's the area where it can happen.
Meantime, Martin, we could see more action soon in the race for president with Ron DeSantis reportedly getting in next week. Perhaps Mike Pence ready to make moves here in the coming days and weeks as well. We heard from his brother here earlier on the program saying he wants Pence to get in sooner than later. especially when you have someone like DeSantis looking at next week, perhaps for a potential announcement.
Right, it's getting crowded, right? You have Vivek Ramaswamy, you have Nikki Haley, Tim Scott.
Chris Christie, maybe.
Chris Christie's talking about it. But, right, at least the report is that Ron DeSantis has said there are 3 viable candidates that could win a nomination: Biden, Trump, and DeSantis himself. But only 2 could win the presidency: DeSantis and Biden. We'll see how that plays out. Once you start a campaign, all bets are off, right? All this has been sort of the, I think, pejoratively called the shadow campaign.
Right.
But he's been prepping, which is what candidates do. And so we'll see. Once a candidate takes over and the race begins, I would not count him out.
Okay, Mike, poll this week had President Biden 7 points ahead of former President Trump, though a poll prior to that Trump town hall had shown something of the opposite. I know you feel the GOP would have a better chance of winning the White House with a different candidate than Trump, but can DeSantis pull it off with some of the controversies he's faced in recent months, this fight with Disney? How has all of that been perceived?
I think his
broadly?
star is fading. To react to what Martin just said, I mean, I love candidates' self-evaluations. Somehow they always come out on top, don't they? And so, if you look back in recent history, the last 20 years or so, the first person in the polls has never ended up being the nominee. Otherwise, we would have President Michelle Bachmann. We'd have President Scott Walker, President Tim Pawlenty. They faded fast. And I think DeSantis is fading too. He's taken on the wrong enemy, somebody with bigger bucks and more influence than himself, and he's going to lose because of that.
Mickey Mouse,
Mickey Mouse, you can't beat
right.
Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse, either, for that matter.
Robin, how do you see this from your side of the aisle here as President Biden aims to get reelected to the White House next year and tries to navigate this debt limit deadline with a divided Congress and certainly progressives in his party that don't want to see him give up too much in these negotiations?
Are we doing 16 all over again? Because we got a huge Republican field. Here we go again. And Donald J. Trump will get 29% of the vote in some states and keep rolling along if you have 15 candidates. Joe Biden is doing what he needs to do. He's running the country well. He's addressing the issues. I was with Congressman Frank Mervan this past week talking about infrastructure, just the sheer amount of money that's coming to Indiana because of the federal government, because of the commitments we've made. I think those will resonate once people begin to hear more about it.
Okay, we got to leave it there. Our panel will be back in just a few minutes. Coming up next, we're just a week away from the Indy 500. But today, the Attorney General has a warning about potential ticket scams. We'll hear from him coming up next.